Great, and I'm live again. And this is part two, continuing that post about the fact that actually your job is to be human, not to fit in. And this is part two. Again, do like, share, subscribe if you see this on Rumble or YouTube, because it helps the content to get out to people who are of like minds, to those of you who like the content in this video. So, every society has a social contract, because when you have more than one person living together in a community, you've got two sovereign human beings. They've got to work out their affairs, their differences, and so on and so forth, and live harmoniously together. And usually we come to some kind of deal whereby we make reasonable efforts to protect and support the society which forms our human ecosystem. And in return, the society makes reasonable efforts to protect and support us. Now, things fall apart when the rights of the individual become less and less and less important, and the rights of the society become more and more and more important. Secondly, things also start to fall apart if the people within our society are given different levels of support and protection by the wider society. In fact, what history has shown is that everything that is done to those at the margins of society will, as sure as God made little green apples, as the expression goes, will be happening to those at the center of that society in due course. And so there is the illogic, there is that folly of being able to sit down protected by privileges if you occupy the position at the center of society, while those at the margins of society are being beasted, because there, but for the grace of God, go you or I. And as Hemingway said in that great story, you should ask not for whom the bell tolls, because it tolls for thee. Now, if we're socialized, as we all are, and this is in all human cultures, to want to engage with our society, to fit in, to do our bit, to rub along with other people, it is important, or it presumes that those people in that society recognize your worth as a human being. I'll give you a personal example. I remember that as my career within media progressed, I noticed that I was encountering more and more difficulties in the United Kingdom. And it seemed to me that these difficulties derived from stereotypes that were being pushed upon me as a person of African origin. Now, I spoke about this in various areas of my life with people who, and get this, people who I trusted, A, and B, respected. The reason I trusted them was that I thought we shared like moral values. We seem to agree. We seem to have similar politics. We seem to have similar views on economics. We seem to have similar views on ethics. And not only that, I thought, therefore, as human beings, that these people were somewhat elevated. Well, we always think that people who are like us are slightly better than everybody else, don't we? I think it's a natural human impulse. And what I noticed that whenever I spoke about issues which pertain to me, there would be issues about race. Most people, of these people that I trusted and respected and thought were pretty solid people, first thing that they would do would be to deny what I was saying. I mean, the sum total of their reaction suggested that I was either imagining what I was uh, 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 thinking about or experiencing, although I felt it every single day. There was no way you could tell me that I was imagining racism. Um, I, they were suggesting, first of all, that I was making it up. Then, when they realized, no, I was rather more forthright and robust than that, they tried to minimize it, saying that, oh, well, it's just a few stupid people. And of course, it would be pitched as people who were so completely crazy and insane that you couldn't possibly factor them in as members of society. But these so-called crazy lunatic people formed the majority of society as far as I was concerned. And so here it was. It led me to the conclusion, after, I would say, decades of this gaslighting, that led me to the conclusion that I was bringing up a subject that was so scary to the people I was talking with that they just weren't prepared, or they just didn't know how to deal with it. So, well, if you can't deal with something, you pretend. Best way to deal with it is to pretend it's not there. You know, a lot of people behave like that about death. It's a big thing. It's a big issue. You know, and most of us haven't got a clue what to do with it, and so we just pretend that it's not going to happen until it happens. So that was deeply disappointing. Then I realized that if you're going to fit into a team, you need to fit into a team that recognizes, respects, and acknowledges not only what they think of your life, but also what you experience of your life. And if people aren't prepared to recognize the truth, then you can't trust them. It is what it is. Now, at first, that made me feel deeply resentful. It made me feel hugely rejected, because these were people who I thought were on the same team and so on and so forth. That's history now. It's you know, you can take a horse to water, you can't force it to drink. It's their life, it's their choices. They can make whatever choices they make, but there is a massive takeaway for all of us in this. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a person of African origin. What it means is that if people don't understand the worth and depth of your humanity, you can't put your life in their hands. It's a little bit like entrusting um, a live chicken, a live egg in the hands of, say, a 6-month-old. The first thing they'll do, they'll probably put it in their mouth and try and eat it, which is what everything goes to the mouth when babies are babies. Or the next thing is they might see if this looks round. It might remind them of one of their toys. They might see if it bounces when they throw it on the floor. The point is, you do not entrust something as precious and fragile as your life into the hands of a person who is completely agnostic of responsibility for that issue, who is completely incapable, not mature enough, not competent to hold that responsibility. And that is why we, in society, whatever society we live in, who know the worth and value of our lives, because nobody feels it like you. Nobody experiences it like you. You know the worth of your joy and your pain. You know the worth of your aspirations and your ambitions. You know the disappointments you have experienced and wish never to experience again. And so for that reason, you must respect the worth of your life and take responsibility for it yourself. And so that's how it works out. that your job is not just to join the herd, it's not just to fit in. Your job is first and foremost to respect the dignity of your life. Then and only then will you actually be of service, not only to yourself, but to your society. Because then you're the guy who can say, actually, you know what? Those people over there who were being beasted and treated that way, you know, their life is worth what my life is worth. My life is worth a lot more than being treated like a cockroach. My life is worth a lot more than being exploited. My life is worth a lot more than being gaslighted and told that A is B when we perfectly know that A is A, that north is south when we perfectly know that north is north and south is south and east is east and west is west. That is the point. The moment you take responsibility for the worth of your life is the moment you rock your humanity. And there are a couple of hidden benefits that I can't talk about. I find it difficult to explain. When you respect your life, it seems as if the entire universe starts to respect your life too. I don't know what you feel about religion or spirituality or whatever, but something extraordinary happens when you feel and sense the worth of your life. The whole of the universe lines up behind you and supports you and protects you. And whatever protection you need seems sometimes against all the odds to rock up. The other thing is that you connect to a kind of source wisdom. Everybody's got a different way of telling the story. I know Africans have a way of talking about their ancestors. Other people talk about their consciousness and so on and so forth. I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth because I'm talking to humanity here. What is absolutely certain is that when you respect your life, you are under an admonition to respect everybody else's life. Show me a racist, and I'll show you a person who doesn't respect their own life. Show me a supremacist, and I'll show you a person who doesn't know the worth of their own life. Show me a person who has to enslave, treat others as less than, and I'll show you a person who is terrified of their own worth, terrified that they are themselves not worth anything, and so need to project that terror by abusing other people's lives. My friends, the only way we get to protect humanity is for us to live, first of all, as human beings, not to fit into this stupid, I have to say this, and with some feeling, ignorant, cookie cutter idea of the lab rats that are running around playing with virtual reality and living a make-believe life. Narcissistic, empty, without mission, without purpose. Because when you respect your humanity, all of those things they pop up and you can't fake them. They're either there or they're not. And your attitudes, beliefs, and your behaviors will demonstrate it. So forget about coming across as anybody's savior. You can tell who the charlatans are from a distance when you are awakened to your own life. Folks, thank you so much. I hope this made sense. Please watch the first part of this video as well, and like these if you can. Thank you. Have a great week.